Hey, music fans! There are some great concerts headed this way. Don't miss out on all the shows in your favorite venues like Deftones at Madison Square Garden, Eagles at the Sphere, and Foster the People at the Ryman Auditorium. Tickets are going fast, so don't wait. Head to LiveNation.com to get your tickets now. That's LiveNation.com.
Three, 2, 1. Happy New Year! Wait, do you have New Year's plans?
Ketamine. No.
literally same. No, but literally same.
No, I have a Bean subscription. This is maybe getting too personal, but I have a subscription where they send me dried beans in the mail, and I'm very proud of it. And they sent me Lucky black-eyed peas.
Oh, yeah.
And I ate them last year, and it was a really good year this year. So I'm like, I got to make those beans on New Year's Day.
That's what my mom does every year. It's like a Southern thing. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's like a Southern thing to do like black-eyed peas with like turkey or ham hock. So she'll probably do that too. But no, literally ketamine and then that is the plan.
Drugs and beans. That's what being in your 30s is for me.
That's pretty much it. No, I'm like, and I need my fiber the next day to feel okay. Like
I simply do. No, I really want to I have this like cute idea for a party where everyone has to bring their own bed. And then it's like just a big sleepover at my house.
That's so
I think that sounds really cute. But we'll see if
that's
people
really
go
fun.
for it.
Wait, that sounds so fucking fun. I can't believe it's been another year. Every year I'm like, damn, again? Like, that's crazy. But I do like the practice of kind of looking back on the year, because usually I've done like so much more than I realize. I'm like, oh, I haven't done anything, and I'm like, oh no, bitch, I've done a lot. We've done a lot this year.
Yeah. I love that way of looking at the year. Or like, I love any way that allows you to just have a introspective moment about it.
Yeah. Should we, dare I say, have an introspective moment right now on the podcast? Live?
I think, yeah.
Live? Question mark? Okay, not to be deeply annoying, but I'm going to quote Zora Neale Hurston real quick, in which she said, some years have questions and some years have answers. And I guess I wonder for 2024 for you, what like questions or answers were there? That's how I think about years. I'm like, oh, what questions were opened up and like what things kind of were answered. If that makes sense.
Oh my God. That's deep.
Maybe too deep.
No, I love it.
To start off. I'm happy to go first because it was a little bit of a leading question, because I do know my answer to it. Because I started this year going into surgery, and I finished this year going into surgery. And I do feel like that's very emblematic of my year, where I feel like I was like a car with like a broken transmission and had to like figure out how to fix, like basically I just had like a lot of kind of like health issues and stuff like this year. Not super serious, mostly just hereditary. A lot of like going to the doctor and then being like, you're pre-diabetic. Want some Ozempic? Or being like, your blood pressure is a little high. Want some Ozempic? Or like, you're like, just like a lot of those kinds of interactions, which were absolutely horrible and sucked. And this was like a big like health year. Like I kind of had to figure out like what health, if like these doctors are so deeply fat phobic and like insurance is a scam and everything's evil, like what does health like look and mean like for me, like, you know, on my own terms and by my own definition. And so that was the question. And the answer is that I found out I'm gluten intolerant as shit. And I've just had diarrhea for 2 years nonstop and didn't know why. And I will say, I think gluten's the reason I've been depressed the past 4 years. And I feel like such a little like coastal elite, like, oh, I'm allergic to gluten. But like, I have had diarrhea nonstop for the past 2 years. And it comes to a point where you just like accept it as part of your life. But I've stopped eating gluten, and I go to Orange Theory twice a week, and I feel like I'm God. Like I am on a different path. I'm on a spiritual path. So that was my year. I feel like I had to like just be like, something's off. Let's figure it out, you know?
Oh my God. I can't believe that. Did it get better within days? Because that's how it was for me.
Immediately.
Yeah.
Immediately. I stopped eating it and immediately I felt better. And if I eat a burger, I'm right back. Like if I eat like a burger with like a bun, it's like right back to like it. Are you also gluten intolerant?
I am. Yeah. I had like a full body rash in 2020.
Oh my God.
Then I had been getting like steroid cream from the doctor for and like just really trying to figure this thing out. It was awful. And then on Reddit, someone was like, this is how gluten affects me. And then I stopped eating gluten. And a year of having that rash went away within a week. And then I only get it when I eat gluten. Yeah. Insane.
Oh my God. But didn't you feel a little silly when you realized it was gluten though?
Yes, absolutely.
It's like, what? A slice of pizza can fucking kill me? Like, what do you mean? Like, that's crazy.
Do you have gluten-free bagels? That's me every time.
No, exactly.
They're like, no. No.
Right. Like, they're like, kill yourself.
Okay, so it's really interesting, but they have found that a lot of bread companies add like 10x amount of yeast or something to like rise the bread faster in like factory bread making. And so we're all eating just an insane amount of gluten.
Yes.
Like that kind of like threw us out of balance. But anyway.
Totally. Yeah. I think it's true though, because I can get like a really good sourdough at like a local bakery where they're using like really good flour and that actually won't fuck me up. But if I'm eating like a highly processed gluten, that's what you thought. I know. Wait,
you have to take baby steps. You have to take baby steps. But.
No, shout out to our former guest, Daria. I was at her house and I was telling her about this and the same exact thing happened to her. Everyone has the same story of like this affliction that they realized, you know, was because of gluten. And so she had the exact same thing like 3 years ago. Wow. And I told her, I was like, yeah, you know, I still like sneak a little bite of like pizza or something every once in a while. And she was like, you're going to get tired of poisoning yourself one day. I was like,
whoa, wait. Game of Thrones jumped out.
Like, wait, so true, queen. Like, you're so right.
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, I felt similarly where I was like, I really try to avoid it, but sometimes I'll have like Sapporo and then was just like, oh, it's literally not worth it. Like,
no, it's not.
I just have to completely cut it out.
No, exactly. Do you have any thoughts on your questions and answers?
Okay, yes.
This year?
I do. Okay. I do think a question this year that I was asking was, how hard will it be to start a family as a queer person?
Ooh.
Because I do feel like pretty like dialed in with other areas of my life. And it does seem like that could be like the next step for my partner and I. And maybe we haven't talked about this on the pod, but I like looked at sperm donor websites and they were all like pretty crazy. Like the info that people share about themselves, you're like, wow, everyone's a CPA. Everyone's a black belt. It's like all this like crazy info that I'm like, do you think that this is making me excited?
No, exactly.
This sucks.
Right. Wow.
So yeah, a lot of people recommended like known donor. That would be a really cool route to go. And yeah, so I mean, that's exciting. So really that's a question, no answer.
Exactly. This year, that was the question. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, that's amazing. Do you feel like you're the kind of person, like, did you always know that you wanted kids? Or
yes, which is annoying. I think a lot of my partners, I feel like, haven't felt that for sure feeling. And so I am like, I just feel like so sure about it.
Wow.
I'm like, it'll be so fun. I feel like I'm like a church camp counselor for life. And so I'm like, oh yeah, this will be great. Like looking forward to it. But what about you? Have you?
Well, I'm so interested. Okay, this is another Daria shout out, but it's just because she lives around the corner from my parents. So we've been hanging out and it's been really lovely. But she is also another person who just is absolutely sure that she wants kids. And it was so interesting talking to her because all my friends are nihilistic queers who like really don't want to have kids. And so actually hearing that perspective, I'm really glad that I talked to her about it and heard her perspective, because it just kind of reminded me, like, it's like the most natural thing in the world. And because of late stage capitalism, it's like we've almost been divorced from ourselves, like in this, you know what I mean? Like divorced from this and become very cynical about like literally the most human thing that you can like, do, you know? And so that was, I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, but that was like a really good reminder because I just get so in my head because I'm just like, oh my God, everything is so wrong. But it's like, this is such a human want and thing to do, you know? So
totally. Yeah. I feel like every generation, I'm sure, has had people that are like, how can we bring a kid into this world? Like imagining like early like nuclear war. Like I would just imagine that it was like, it has always felt this crazy and yet humans have continued. And it's maybe kind of like selfish for each generation to be like, this is a wrap. This is the last one. People are going to be eating bugs. What? not that that's not true. But yeah, there is still something in me that it does feel kind of effortless that I'm like, oh my God, it would be so cool to have a kid. This, and this would be really fun. So I think that's hopefully beautiful. I'm there to balance other people who are feeling like a little bit more like realistic of being like, what do you mean? Like,
yeah. No, I love the two perspectives though. Like it doesn't mean I'm going to have a kid, but I think it's also like, it is just like a reminder. It's like kind of grounding in a way. It's like, oh yes, because there's also kind of this thing where it's like queer people also like should be the ones having kids. I feel like
and not kind of like crazy Republicans with like 7 kids. Like I'm like, what's going on? Yeah, totally.
No, exactly. And it's like by not having kids, are we like, I don't know. I think I'm having a lot of complicated thoughts about it, but there is something beautiful about also like creating the kind of parenting for the kind of world you want, like, you know, and so, I'm still so on the fence, but I love talking to other people about it. Yeah,
totally. People have asked me if like my ideal would be to raise a kid non-binary, and I'm like, I don't actually think so.
Interesting.
I kind of feel like no.
Yeah, I've thought about this a lot too. Why do you think no? What are your thoughts?
Okay, so I do feel like it's kind of a lot to explain. And the issue that I had with growing up wasn't that someone was like, you're a girl. It's just that nobody left room in the conversation open for me to say, maybe I'm not. And so I do feel like just being like, okay, you're this at birth. This is like the flavor of patriarchy you'll be experiencing. We're going to operate with that thesis for a while, but you'll just very much know that the door is open if you want to have those conversations. You literally have a transparent.
I've seen a lot of people on TikTok do that. And I think that makes sense because I think otherwise the kid is just going to face like so much stuff. I feel like every interaction, I don't know.
It just feels like it's about me, I think, in that moment. I don't even know who this kid is yet. And I'm already being like,
you're already putting that onto them, right?
You're also non-binary. Like, yeah, I just feel like that's a kind of like cool conversation to leave on the table and have like just so much spaciousness around like anything you're thinking. Yeah, let's talk through it versus me being like, here's an option for you. And in fact, I've picked it.
Right. So would you just go with like the gender they were assigned at birth, kind of?
And I would have a big gender reveal party. Light a hillside on fire with the fireworks.
I know, could you imagine you with one of those like guns that sprays that powder? We had to kind of live for that, sorry.
Honestly, we got it. We literally
that sounds kind of fun. Like maybe I get why straight people do that. It just sounds kind of fun.
Yeah, actually, that sounds awesome. We're all on quads. Okay, well, what do you think you would if you had a kid?
Oh, I have no idea. I've just hypothetically thought about it a lot. Oh, I don't know. No, I literally don't have any thoughts. I have no idea. I'm like, I constantly go back and forth because, you know, you don't want to put something onto the kid, but putting a gender onto
gender
them
is also doing that.
A thing.
Yeah,
exactly. And so it just kind of feels like a loop. Can a kid from like 1 year old like even really understand what non-binary is, even though we're in a really binary world? But then like I'm not around enough kids to know that, and I do feel like kids actually are so much smarter than we realize. So I'm like, I literally just have no idea, and I think I'm like don't have enough kids in my life to actually make like an educated statement on it, because I think that would maybe help you think. Because even my friends who have like older siblings who are now they have like nieces and nephews, I feel like they learn like so much from their nieces and nephews, you know, and I just like, I don't have that. So I'm like, I don't know how kids work. I don't know what kids are capable of. I don't know.
Yeah, totally. Well, thank you everyone for listening to our little check-in. We wanted to celebrate the new year. But a new full episode of Gender Spiral will be out next week. So until then.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for another year, girls.
Yes.
Love you guys.
Thanks, sweeties.
Thanks, honeys.
Hey, sweetie. Thank you.
Gender Spiral is an original podcast from Audiation. This episode was mixed by Matt Noble, and music is composed by CMD plus Jasmine, courtesy of Molten Heart, with art by Joey Hahn and graphics by Michael Tyrone Delaney. The show is executive produced by Ireland Meacham, myself, Babette Thomas, my co-host, Ally Beardsley, and Sandy Smullins, with additional story editing from Susie Armitage. If you like the show, please head over to patreon.com/genderspiralpodcast to support us. You can also check us out at genderspiralpod.com, where you'll find transcripts for each episode and a link to leave us a voicemail.
And follow us on Instagram. It's at Gender Spiral. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts so you don't miss a new episode. They're coming out every other week.
Audiation.
Hey, music fans! There are some great concerts headed this way. Don't miss out on all the shows in your favorite venues like Deftones at Madison Square Garden, Eagles at the Sphere, and Foster the People at the Ryman Auditorium. Tickets are going fast, so don't wait. Head to livenation.com to get your tickets now. That's livenation.com.
I am Christopher Titus of the Titus Podcast.
I am Rachel.
And I'm Ken Highland, a.k.a. The Highlander.
When the rest of the world is screaming insanity, we scream sanity. We do a satire, comedy, news, and events podcast.
First and foremost, funny first.
Whatever's happening in the world, if you want to hear it in a way that doesn't rip your soul out, we'll make you laugh with it.
At the end of the day, we just scream sanity. That's what we do.
Can't we just talk sanity? Because
They have to scream sanity. So
Nobody's going to hear it.
so tired of you guys screaming.
I talk stupidity.
Well, that's true.
The Titus Podcast on all major streaming platforms, YouTube, and at ChristopherTitus.com. Titus Podcast. It's time to scream sanity.